My name is Vincent Agaba. I'm an alumni of Uganda Martyrs University. I did Bachelor's of Business Administration and Management. After Business Administration and Management, it course cuts across. You do a lot of marketing, you do human resource, you do accounting and finance. But when I finished university, being the general course, I had to find a sector where I could fit. But real estate was just not my thing. I didn't know about it. But when I leave Uganda Martyrs University, I come to Kampala and I wanted to look for a house to stay in. And I reached Makulimengo, and when I was looking for a house, people told me there are people who sit around the streets there called brokers who find houses for people. So I go to these people asking for a house. And I had a budget, I think that time, of about maybe 150,000 shillings. And I tell them I need a one-bedroom self-contained where to stay. And these people tell me, oh, we have the options. So they say, go back to Uganda Martyrs University, come back, and next weekend you will find we have put some options for you. So when I go there and I come back, they take me around. But the first house they show me is 300,000. The second one they show me is above my budget. The third one is also above my budget. They tell me, but gentlemen, I wanted this budget. Why are you showing me different things? They say, no, wait, because this time it was a challenge. Can you come back next weekend? But when we go back to the stage where I got them from, they ask me for money for showing me houses. So I ask, but I have not yet found what I got. Why are you asking me money? They say, you know what? We have used the borders, we have fuel and all that. You have to pay some money. Cutting the story short, by the time I found the house, almost my savings were cut by half in the process of looking for a house. So that thing kept around my mind. I was asking, how do people find houses in Kampala? So my first instinct was, I need to start a housing information center. Because I would imagine my mother coming from Fort Portal to Kampala, looking for the same house and ending up into the hands of the same people. It would be very cumbersome. That was my first interaction with housing business. So when I go for my second degree, I keep thinking about this challenge. So I asked my professor, I said, but how do you do this kind of business here in the Netherlands that time? He tells me, no, here there are offices called real estate offices. If you're looking for a house, you go to a real estate office. These people will have options. They will make appointments for you. They will take you and see what to do. That thing kept running in my head. I said, look, when I go back home, I need to solve this challenge. So actually the company starts in my student room in the Netherlands. We start working on the concept on how to start the same thing in Uganda. So I had a friend who from IT, then we designed a website. As students, when you are drinking a small drink, beer, whatever, instead of playing cards, we were designing a website and ta-da-da-da. So after graduation, I just come back to Kampala and come watch Bokoto, start and say, look, I'm going to become also like these brokers, but see how to make it better. So that was the beginning of me going into real estate. And I can assure you today, if you come to Avarts Housing Limited looking for a house, we have a professional team. We have all the listings, we call them, and leads aligned for you. We make an appointment. You go and see the house. If it is the same price, it will be the same price. There would be no alterations. Just solve that challenge that we faced the other day. At Uganda University, we had the entrepreneurship course, and we had also strategic management. Those for me were my two best subjects, but I also specialized in marketing, but I liked entrepreneurship. And I remember Sister Priska was our lecturer at that time, and also strategic management. So starting things, that innovation, when we were being taught at you, even if you look at this, the anthem, in virtue and wisdom we lead. So, that anthem is all about what do you go into the world, what do you become, how do you become a solution to community challenges. That somehow inspired some of us. Even when today when we meet as alumni, we think that we are solution makers than just people who are looking at problems. We want to solve them. So the inspiration at really gave us a lot of background. I remember that time even the administration under Professor Lejeune and all that kind of stuff, it was all about how do we go lead the world? How do we go change the world? How do we go solve challenges? And I think that is something that I can never forget from Uganda Martyrs University. I remember when we were playing football at the parish, that's when also for the first time I also ended up into business. Because we would play with all these boys from the village. And one time, actually, I had gotten some money from, people come to check on you at the university. And one of those children led me to a grandmother down near the Equator Valley farm. And that was my first plot when I was still at the university. What I remember at Uganda Martyrs University at that time, first, for example, the environment. If you go to that university and you see how the alignment of the physical planning of the university is, just the orderliness and the organization of the university, the walkways, the flowers, how the buildings are set up, you already feel that you need to be an organized person. You need to be very organized to be in that environment. So that really helps us. Number two is that we were small classes. We were not so big classes. So the lecturer to student ratio was very, very, so you would interact with the lecturer and they would know you and you would know them. Then we had to do a lot of group discussions. So we would have case studies, I think still the same today, and then go through the case studies, create solutions, and then come back and make presentations. So that teaching was different from a lecture mode whereby a lecturer comes and tells you what to do and walks away. So that environment helps us to think a bit better, and I hope it's still there, and I can imagine that's still there. Then of course there are Catholic values involved in there. There's a church in between the university campus. They would go on Sunday, all of us to pray and come out and so forth. So the whole environment was that you were taught to become a responsible person. Without even attending that church or Sunday or whatever, you're reminded all the time of that you are existing and there is a God high above you, and whatever you're doing, you're not doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for that. And I think that that spirit of faith combined with education, combined with the environment, it's green, it is maintained, it is, you become somehow responsible. Then the administration was so friendly at that time because they knew us by names. I'm a sports person. I was a minister of sports at the guild, and we would do basketball, we would do soccer, then we would go for inter-university games. We did a lot. It was so nice. And I think that also encourages us today that you need to keep moving, keep hard to represent your university wherever you are. Why? Because it is running on a very strong foundation of the Catholic Church. I'm saying that without regrets or apology. So being at Uganda Martyrs University and you really follow the same strain, you don't go wrong. Number two, it is a university that is proven over the years for now. It has a very good leadership and all the structures. So it's a question of us choosing. There are many universities out there, but we are here. We are a product of Uganda Martyrs University. So look out for us who have been there and what we are doing in the field, because sometimes it's good to see the example of those who have been there. What are they doing? How have they progressed? And choose best to that. Because at the end of the day, when we go to the field, we also need networks. And those networks, if they are alumni networks, these are soft things that people don't think about. You hear people saying, I'm a graduate of Harvard. So when you walk into a door and find another Harvard, one job is already done. Thank you, Uganda Martyrs University, for reaching out to me. Who am I? I'm privileged. For those who are looking for universities, I encourage and I think Uganda Martyrs University is the university to be. People think it is far. They used to think of Mpigi. But now we have campuses in Rwanda, we have campuses in different places. So it's not as far as how it used to be. But again, even being far is also maybe an advantage. Yes, because they would think to leave Mpigi to come to Kampala for a nightclub, then let me do my homework. So those are things we have to look at. But I encourage everyone to come.